morning, boys and girls. This is Mr. Brown coming to you from the Floyd Middle Magnet School Digital Online Campus. Today, we are going to go over the study guide that most of you did and finished and turned in on time on Friday. For those of you that didn't, if you did not do the study guide from last Friday, stop the video, right? Do not continue. It would be a waste of your and my time for you to not have done the study guide before you watch this video. This video is best used if you've got your study guide answers right or wrong in front of you, so that as we go through, you can see how to get the correct answers. You might want to take some notes on today's video. If you missed a lot of things on the study guide, go ahead and take some extra notes. All right, if you need to go back and watch the videos from the past 2 weeks, I will link to those right here. And the other half of the videos will be right here. I probably still don't know how to do that, but that's okay. The study guide was broken into 4 main categories. The first is the coordinate plane, knowing where the quadrants are and how to find the coordinates for a point. Please do not get the quadrants and the coordinates mixed up. Some of you were giving me quadrants when the problem asked clearly for coordinates, so pay attention. Also, when you give coordinates, like let's say your point is at -2, 3, please put those coordinates in parentheses. If you don't want to lose a point, that's a good way to keep that point. Okay? The second big section that was on the study guide was slopes and rates of change. How do you tell if a slope is positive or negative or 0 or undefined? All right. I will show you how to do that. Also, figuring out the slope of your line is just counting the up and down and the left and right and putting it as a fraction. All right, but we'll go back over that too in today's video. The third big section was circumference of circles, the distance around a circle. All right, there are 2 formulas for circumference. Circumference equals pi times diameter, or circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Knowing when to use each of those, and we'll go over that today in today's video. Lastly, the fourth section is area of circles. All right, that's how much space there is inside of a circle. There's only one formula for area of circles, and that is A equals pi r squared. And we'll talk about what to do when they give you a diameter when you really need the radius. All right, so get out some pencils and paper, get out your study guide from Friday, and let's go step by step, problem by problem, and figure out how to get the right answers. All right?
The first section on the study guide was covering the coordinate plane. Number 1 said, in what quadrant is point R? So first let's mark our quadrants. All right, you start with quadrant 1 is your positive positives. All right, and then you go counterclockwise. All right, so this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Don't get quadrants mixed up with coordinates. All right, quadrants are the 4 quadrants. Coordinates are the exact location. So number 1 says, in what quadrant is point R? R is down here where it's your X's are positive but your Y's are negative. So it is in quadrant number 4. Number 2 says, in what quadrant is point T? Well, point T is on the y-axis. So it's not in quadrant 1, it's not in quadrant 2, it's not in both. It is not in a quadrant. If you want to be more specific than that, you could go on to say it is on the y-axis. Okay. In what quadrant are you in if the x-coordinate is positive? So starting from the origin, if the x is positive and the y-coordinate is negative, well, that puts you in quadrant 4. Which of these points is located at -5, 4? So from the origin, the first number is your x-coordinate, and it tells you how many places to move left or right. Your second coordinate is the y-coordinate. It tells you how many places to go up or down. All right, so the first one is -5. So we go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And then the y-coordinate is -4. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be S. S is at -5, -4. Also, make sure to put your coordinates inside parentheses, otherwise you're going to lose a point. Number 5 says, give the coordinates of point W. So where is W? It's right here. So start at the origin. You need to go to the right 1, 2, 3. So that'd be a +3. And you need to go up 1, 2, 3. Up 3 would also be a +3. So W is at 3, 3. Number 6, give the coordinates of point P. All right, here's P. Start back at the origin. You have to go to the left 1, 2 spaces. So P is at -2. And then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2, 5. And again, put those coordinates in parentheses. Number 7, if you are asked to graph a line containing points A at 4, -2 and B at 4, 6, what kind of line would line AB be? All right, there are 2 ways to do this. You can look at your x coordinates and your y coordinates, or you could flat out graph the line and see what it gives you. All right, I'm going to utilize this graph right here. Okay, I'm going to do this first one in blue. All right, A is at 4, -2. So this is A. B is at 4, +6, which would be just off the graph right about here. All right, and if I draw a line through those 2 points, is that line vertical, horizontal, or neither? It is a vertical line. So line AB is a vertical line. Now back to the observation that the x-coordinate was the same for both of these points. So if the x-coordinate is the same, it is a vertical line. Okay? Let's do number 8 in purple. If you were asked to graph the line containing points C, -2, 8, and D, 4, 8, what kind of line would line CD be? All right, so C, we're going to run way off the graph here. C, it said, was at -2, 8. So -2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be about here. And D is at 4, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. This is why it's nice to know the thing about the x and y coordinate. All right, so if I draw a line through these points, all right, this is a horizontal line. So line, whoops, back up here. Line CD is a horizontal line. And again, if you look at your coordinates, the y coordinates are the same. So if the y coordinate should be coordinates, the x coordinates are the same. Grammar. The x coordinates are the same. The line, is a vertical line. If the y coordinates are the same, it is a horizontal line. And then finally, the other option would be that it's not horizontal or vertical. If the x's are not the same and the y's are not the same, then it is a line that's cattywampus, like this purple pen. Okay, it's not straight, it's not parallel to the x-axis, it's not parallel to the y-axis, it is neither horizontal nor vertical. The next section of questions dealt with slopes and rates of change. First, let's talk about the different kinds of slope. All right, I've given us 4 coordinate planes down here just real quickly to graph out some of each kind of slope. All right, the first kind of slope you can have is a positive slope. If the line is going up, left to right, that is a positive slope. All right, what about this line? It's also a positive slope. What if it's super steep? Still a positive slope because it's going up, left to right. The next kind of slope you can have is a negative slope. That is when your line is going down, left to right. So this is an example of a negative slope. Okay, it can be super shallow too, but as long as it's going down left to right, it's a negative slope. It can be super steep going down left to right, and it is a negative slope. All right, the other 2 options are a slope of 0. A slope of 0 is parallel to the x-axis, but it's not going up, it's not going down, it's parallel to the x-axis. All right, here's a 0 slope, here's a 0 slope, here's a 0 slope. All of these have a slope of 0 because they're parallel to the x-axis. The last kind of slope is an undefined slope, and that's when the slope, the line, is parallel to the y-axis. So that's undefined. That's undefined. Even if it was way over here off the graph, that's undefined. Okay, you need to know what your 4 kinds of slopes look like. All right, so what kind of slope falls from left to right? Falls from left to right would be this negative. Okay, so this is negative. What kind of slope runs parallel to the x-axis? Y-axis. Which one is a vertical line? All right, if it's vertical, the slope is undefined. And I think there's one more question about that in just a second, but starting with number 11, it skips to, is this an example of a constant rate of change or a variable rate of change? So we talked about constant and variable. If it is a constant rate of change, it is one solid line, okay? So this is an example of a constant rate of change. Okay, it can even be a negative slope, but if it's one line, it is a constant rate of change, as opposed to a variable rate of change. A variable rate of change can be straight lines, but partway through the graph, the slope changes. Okay, so even though these are straight lines, it changes partway through. It varies, it changes. And the other more obvious variable rate of change is something with a curve in it. All right, this right here is a variable rate of change. Okay, constant is a solid line, variable is a crooked line or a curved line. So for number 11, is this an example of a constant rate of change or a variable rate of change? Well, it's got a curve in it. So if it's got a curve, it is a variable rate of change. Easy peasy. Okay, I think number 12 asks us the same sort of thing. Is this an example of a constant rate of change or a variable rate of change? Well, it is one straight line. So it is a constant rate of change. Okay? Easy. Number 13 says, tell whether the slope is positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Which one was parallel to the x-axis? All right, which one was parallel to the x-axis? That was a 0 slope. So the slope of this line is 0. Okay? Number 14, what is the slope of the line? All right, they have given us 2 points on this line. So to find the slope, you put the rise, that's the up and down, over the run, that's the side to side. So let's go over here, and let's say we're going from 0, -2 to 3, 2. So we would go up 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. All right, up 4 would be +4 or -4. Up 4 would be +4. All right, and then we would go over 1, 2, 3 to the right. All right, right 3 would be +3. So the slope of this line is 4/3. It is okay to have an improper fraction for a slope. All right, also, before we even started to find that, did this line have a positive slope or a negative slope? Well, it goes up left to right. So as we showed just a minute ago, that should be a positive slope. And did we wind up with a positive answer? Yes. All right. Even if we did this backwards, we would still wind up with a positive slope. All right. Let's say we did this backwards and we went down 4. Down 4 would be -4. And then to the left 3. To the left 3 would be a -3. Well, -4 divided by -3 is the same thing because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so it would be a positive 4/3. All right, I think we have one more from this section. What is the slope of this line? Again, I gave you 2 points on the line. So we're going to go from one to the other. But before we even start, is this a positive slope or a negative slope? All right, if the line is going down as you move from left to right, we said that's a negative slope. So we should wind up with a negative answer. All right, let's see if we do that. Again, slope is rise over run. So let's go from this dot to this dot. So we would have to go down 2, 4, 6, 8. Is that right? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. We would have to go down 8. So that would be what? A negative 8. And then we have to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So it would be a negative 8, 6. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't put that as one of the choices because 8 and 6 are both divisible by 2, which would leave negative 4/3. All right, and if you looked at this graph and said, no, those are two different things, all right, if we came back to this graph and we did negative 4, 3, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, look, that point is still on that line. And then if we did negative 4, positive 3 again, we'd be back to the big dot. Okay? So those are the same slope. All right, the instructions say to find the circumference of each circle to the nearest unit. Remember, that means the ones place. And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. If you did not round to the nearest unit, you just got your answer and left it, then you're going to lose a point. Also, if you read the instructions, it said not to worry about the unit, because when the unit is squared, that'd be hard to put in the little block. So right now, I'm just worried about the number for the answer. All right, number 16. There are two formulas for circumference. One you use when there's a diameter, one you use when there is a radius. The one for diameter is circumference equals pi d. I think I even gave it to you. Okay, we're going to plug in our approximation for pi, which is 3.14 times the diameter is 10, which would give you, when you multiply by powers of 10, it just moves your decimal. So it would give you 31.4. And then we're supposed to round to the nearest unit, the nearest whole number. All right, so this 4 would let the 1 stay a 1. So this would be 31 inches. But you're not even going to have to worry about the inches, just 31. Okay, just for right now, that's an added bonus to doing this social distance style. All right, not even worried about the unit. Number 17 gives you a radius, so we need the other formula. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, we're going to plug in our approximation for pi and the radius. So bring down the 2. Our approximation for pi is 3.14 times the radius is 7.2. All right, and I'm not even going to pretend to know what that is. 2 times 3.14 times 7.2 is 45 and 216 thousandths of a yard. Oops. All right, shh. This is a what? A happy little accident. All right, because we're not done. We need to round to the nearest unit. Make sure you're reading the instructions. Okay, would a 2 push a 5 up to a 6? It would not. It would just leave it as 45 yards. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, number 18. All right, do we need C equals pi d or C equals 2 pi r? All right, they gave us all the way across, so we need C equals pi d. Let's plug in our approximation for pi and the diameter that we had. All right, 3.14 times 13 is 40 and 82 hundredths. All right, and would this 8 push this 0 up or leave it an 8? It would push it up. It says pull up on me. All right, it would round to 41 centimeters. And again, don't even worry about the unit. Okay. A circular swimming pool has a circumference of 72.22 feet. Okay, so this circular swimming pool, okay, has a circumference of 72.22 feet. And they want to know what is the diameter of this swimming pool. Okay, so we're going to use the same formula, but the way we work it is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so C equals pi d. That's the formula that connects the circumference and the diameter. Except this time, instead of leaving the C as the variable, we're going to leave the d as the variable. So we've got 72.22 equals 3.14 times d. All right, and then all you have here is a one-step equation. We need to get the d by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 3.14. These cancel out. Pew, pew. And we do 72.22 divided by 3.14. And that gives us exactly 23 for the diameter. All right, and I believe in the instructions it said don't worry about writing a sentence, don't worry about your unit. So just put the 23. The diameter of the swimming pool is 23 feet. Okay. Number 20, Stitch blew a bubble with a radius of 5 inches. What is the circumference of his bubble to the nearest tenth of an inch? Use 3.14 for pi. I don't know what this is. Yeah. Okay, so he blew a bubble with a radius of 5 inches. And it says, what is the circumference? So this one's pretty straightforward. Circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Circumference is about 2 times 3.14 times 5. All right, 2 times 5 is 10 times 3.14 would give us 31.4. All right, and it says round to the nearest tenth. Well, this is the tenth place, so there's nothing to round, so it'd be 31.4 inches. Again, you don't have to worry about writing a sentence. You don't have to worry about the unit. All right, you got this. And finally, for this next section, we're dealing with the area of each circle. It says to the nearest unit, so the nearest whole number, we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Well, there is only one formula for the area of a circle, and it is area equals pi r squared. A is the area, pi is pi, r is the radius. So in a problem like number 21, where the distance they give us is all the way across, we can't use that 10. We need the radius. So what we do is we cut the radius in half. What is half of 10? That'd be 5. Okay? So then we come over here, and we got 3.14 times. The radius is 5. Well, we want the radius squared, so 5 squared. All right? And then between multiplication and exponents, you have to do exponents first. So we're going to leave the 3.14. We're going to do 5 squared is 25. Then we can, well, we could have used our calculator for that too, but then we do 3.14 times 25, and we get 78.5. And that would almost be the answer, except it says round to the nearest unit, so the nearest ones place. So if it's 5 or above, it pushes the number in front of it up. So that would be 79 inches squared, because area is always your unit squared. However, in the instructions it said, do not worry about the unit or sentences, just get me the right number. Excuse me. 22. All right, there's only one formula for area. I believe I even gave it to you. All right, do we need to half this number? No, because it's already halfway across the circle. So this is the radius. All right, so we get 3.14 times the radius, 7.2 squared. All right, then we go to the calculator. 7.2 squared times 3.14 gives us, 162.7776. All right, we're supposed to round to the nearest unit. The 7 would make the 2 go up to a 3, so this would be about 163 yards squared. Easy peasy. If you wanted to put the unit into the Google form, you would do yards, and then somewhere on your keyboard there's something called a caret. It's like a little arrow like that, and then you would put the 2. That's how you would do that, but I'm not even asking you to do that, okay? Just asking for the right number. All right, 23a equals pi, let's scoot up, r squared. Okay, this time, again, the number that they have given us we cannot use, right? Because it's all the way across. So we need to divide that by 2, should be 6.5 centimeters. And then we'll use that number. All right, so we got 3.14 times 6.5 squared. A is about, see, 6.5 squared times 3.14 is 132 and 665 thousandths. We're supposed to round to the nearest unit. 6 would make the 2 go up to a 3, so that would be about 133 centimeters squared. Number 24. Same instructions. Find the area. Area equals pi r squared. Area is about 3.14 times. The radius is 7, so 7 squared. All right, 7 squared is 49, so 3.14 times 49 is 153.86. All right, round to the nearest unit. 8 will push the 3 up to a 4, so the area is about 154 yards squared. All right, last one. Mikey ordered a pizza with a 9-inch radius without his brothers knowing. If he eats the half of the pizza, if he eats half of the pizza by himself, what was the area of the portion of pizza he consumed? Round to the nearest tenth. Use 3.14 for pi. So, we got a pizza. It says with a 9-inch radius. But he's only going to eat half of this pizza. But when there are 4 Ninja Turtles, is that good sharing? It is not. All right, so for this one, we are going to find a equals pi r squared. But since he only ate half of it, we need to divide whatever that area is by 2, because he just ate half of it. So we got 3.14 times 9 squared divided by 2. All right? So that would be 3.14 times 81 divided by 2. That would be 3.14 times 81 is 254 and 34 hundredths. That's the whole pizza, but he only ate half. Divided by 2 would be 127 and 17 hundredths. What did it say to round to the nearest tenth? Okay, so that would be 127.2 inches squared. That's how much pizza Mikey ate. All right?
Okay, that's all 25 problems. Problem by problem, step by step, how to get the answer. If you made an A or a B on the study guide, good for you. All right, take the couple things you missed, learn from them, get it right tomorrow. Okay, if you made lower than a B, you've got some work to do in between now and tomorrow. So do that work. Again, look at those previous videos, take notes off of this video. That'd be fine too. Tomorrow's test will post at 8 a.m. and is due no later than midnight tomorrow night. Please have those in so that I can get them graded and put in iNow as expeditiously as possible. All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mr. Brown's channel. Ring the little bell so that you know every time I drop a new video on the YouTubes. All right, stay safe and don't do drugs. All right.